Imagine a future in which humanity no longer powered just its cities with solar panels or wind turbines but, instead, harnessed the energy of entire stars, galaxies, and even the universe itself. This may sound like the stuff of science fiction, but it's the core idea behind the Kardashev Scale. In 1964, Soviet astronomer Nikolai Kardashev developed the Kardashev Scale, a framework to help us think about how civilizations grow in terms of their ability to harness energy. While Kardashev initially proposed 3 types of civilizations, today we will take you on a journey beyond that to the furthest reaches of the cosmos, exploring what it might take to become a Type 7 civilization. From managing the resources of one planet to fiddling with the very fabric of the universe, are you prepared to consider the potential of civilizations far beyond what we could ever envision? Let us undertake a journey now, commencing with what was described as a Type 1 civilization, otherwise known as a planetary civilization. This is where humanity may be heading over the next 100 or couple of hundred years. A Type 1 civilization has access to all the energy available within its home planet. Imagine that every resource, every watt of energy from the sun, the wind, the oceans, and geothermal power right at our fingertips. Imagine being in control of all of the systems involved in global energy production. No more fossil fuels, no more pollution. We could tap right into Earth's natural systems in a harmonious coexistence with the planet itself, extracting energy from oceans, volcanoes, or even earthquakes. Now, let's put that into perspective. Humanity today, with all our power plants, nuclear reactors, and renewable energy sources, consumes only a fraction of the energy reaching Earth from the sun. As a matter of fact, we are still at Type 0 somewhere there, not yet able to harness all the energy potential from Earth. Soon, however, we may have a chance to reach Type 1. If this is possible, we would be producing energy in the scaling of 10 to the power of 16 watts. That means energizing our cities to probably controlling weather, earthquakes, and even volcanic eruptions. Think of hurricanes being diverted or the total elimination of droughts. But as we draw closer to being a Type 1 civilization, in turn come questions such as what are the risks? Would we use that power responsibly? What does that imply for a society with full planetary control? Would we finally solve our environmental crises, or would we face new dangers like managing the ethical dilemmas of controlling life on Earth itself? Okay, bien, now fast forward to the future. For the sake of argument, let's assume we learn to tap all the energy available on Earth. A Type 2 civilization is never content with just the resources of a planet. It extracts the energy from an entire star. You heard that right, a stellar civilization could capture and use nearly all the energy output from its host star. Its megastructure, a Dyson sphere at its core. A megastructure comprising a vast array or shell that engulfs a star, which is supposed to capture its energy output. To put that in perspective, a star like our Sun would emit 10 to the power of 26 watts of energy every second. That is billions of times more than we consume on Earth today. A civilization with such a degree of power would really be able to do anything that could conceivably be imagined. Terraforming planets would be no big deal whatsoever. Whole star systems could be restructured as interrelated colonies. Space travel would no longer just be possible, it would become something as regular as taking a car ride across a bridge. Think of moon-sized vessels that move through space, whole planets that are factories, or energy beamed from one star system to the next. The life that would be made possible on Earth with this form of energy is utterly different. Beyond that, though, is the opportunity for life elsewhere in the solar system, on Mars, Europa, or even the moons of Saturn. But here is the question: could we, as a species, ever achieve this level of technological sophistication? The sheer scale of engineering required in building a Dyson sphere is mind-boggling. It would call for an understanding of material science, energy transmission, and robotics far beyond our current capabilities. What would that entail, actually taking control of a star? How responsibly could that be done, or would that therefore be a recipe for conflict in the solar system over who controls the energy resources? If the harnessing of a star's energy is incredible, let us go intergalactic. A Type 3 civilization doesn't just control a star, it dominates an entire galaxy. Yes, a Type 3 civilization can harness the power of billions of stars. Imagine the Milky Way, our home galaxy with its 100 billion stars, all at the power of one single advanced species. How could that be? Well, all that would need a civilization capable of faster than light travel, or something more plausible: wormholes, warp drives to finally bridge those incredible gaps among the stars. A Type 3 civilization would harness the energy output of an entire galaxy. The energy consumption rate would then be on the order of 10 to the power of 36 watts. Every star would become a source of power, every black hole a potential source of energy. But what kind of society would this be? The political, social, and economic mechanisms for managing such immense resources would be beyond anything we have ever experienced. Would there be one galactic utopia or various species and factions in a struggle for supremacy? Such a civilization would be able to play with the very essence of space. They would be able to construct megastructures the size of solar systems, reshape planets, or even create artificial stars. They would be explorers, colonizers, and creators on an unimaginable scale. But with such power comes great responsibility and even greater risks. Now, beyond the galaxy. What if a civilization were able to manipulate nothing less than the universe itself? A Type 4 civilization, most often referred to as a universal civilization, would be one that could draw energy from all the stars, black holes, and galaxies within the universe. Here, a species would no longer be confined to specific solar systems or galaxies but would have evolved onto a universal level. Imagine being able to manipulate such insidious forces as dark energy or dark matter, which comprise the majority of mass and energy in the universe. A Type 4 civilization could conceivably learn to manipulate such unseen forces to control the very expansion of the universe itself. They could speed up or slow down the expansion of the universe, create entire galaxies, or even bend the laws of physics themselves. That is where science fiction really begins to blur with reality. But would a civilization of such an advanced stage even then be detectable to us? At that stage in their lives, they could well exist as just information, and even energy, with no physical forms whatsoever. Would they still even be biological creatures, having perhaps invented for themselves technological leaps that we can't fathom? And how would they interact with other civilizations? Would they be benevolent overseers, guiding younger civilizations, or would they be so far beyond us that we're like ants to them beneath notice? Beyond even the universe comes the multiverse. Such a Type 5 civilization wouldn't even be limited to one universe but would have the capability of travel and manipulation of many universes inside such a multiverse. Every single universe might have its own set of physical laws, dimensions, and realities. Imagine a civilization that could hop from one universe to another with ease, just as it would be normal to us, walking from one room into the other. Further ahead into the realm of a Type 6 civilization, as if commanding many universes was the end of it. If one thought that, then he is quite wrong. Type 6 civilization operates at scales extending to the multiverse itself that they control and manipulate higher dimensions, levels of reality extending beyond what we could conceive as universes. This would be the stage where it is quite applicable to call civilizations the multidimensional gods. They would have only tapped into the power of the universes but controlled the underlying dimensions and laws of physics defining existence itself. The best way to put this would be to say that they could reprogram even the fabric of existence for the simple purpose of bending reality to their whim. They might even create new multiverses, establish their own laws of nature, or erase universes at the bat of an eye. At that level of civilization, mastery over space-time would be so exhaustive as to make realities and unmake them with the ease of turning on the light switch. The line between the physical and metaphysical becomes blurred because they could be out there exploring ideas that are beyond human conception's infinite dimensions, higher states of consciousness, and abstract forms of life. Would it have a notion of morality? Would it have moved to a plane so advanced that notions like ethics, good, and evil no longer apply to it? Or would such a civilization perhaps be beyond our own understanding of existence, making any interaction or communication with lesser civilizations like us utterly impossible? By that time, in addition, civilizations will have evolved beyond recognition, somewhat like beings of pure energy, or pure intellect, or even information. They may even leave behind physical form altogether and exist as an abstract entity that works outside the limitations imposed by space, time, and matter. It would bring us right to the top of the Kardashev scale, specifically to the Type 7 civilization, also called the omniversal civilization. A civilization of this caliber would no longer have dominance over a few dimensions or multiverses, but would have complete control over all the erratic realities, all that is, all that could be, and all that will ever be. A Type 7 civilization would exist beyond existence itself, the capability to control all of time, space, energy, and matter, not just within one universe or a multiverse but across every conceivable realm of existence. This would be of a civilization functioning on a level of power and comprehension so great that they could only be considered omnipotent. What would such a civilization be like? At any stretch of imagination, would it still be alive as we currently define life? They may conceivably exist as a state of pure consciousness outside of every form of physical or dimensional restraint. They would know everything and be in power over all reality, and perhaps even the power to create infinite versions of themselves in every possible universe. A Type 7 civilization, for all intents and purposes, would be gods, not just the makers of worlds or stars, but makers of entire realities. They would be in full comprehension of the universe in its totality, having no longer any binding ties with the laws of physics, much less the limitations of existence as we know it.